loves you for, or God loves you for
Okay, go.
free.
Go, Shinja.
God loves you for free, but I have to pay.
You're trying to make her win.
No, I'm not.
She's got a deep.